sign. I opened up my eyes, I saw the sign. I never really... what even is that song?
It's from... I only know it from Full House. Is the only place I know it from.
It's not in any big movie or anything?
Not that I know of.
I saw the sign. That sounds like it was like on the radio.
Yeah.
In like the 90s or something.
Well, I mean, it's, Full House is basically the radio in the 90s, I think.
Was Full House 90s or 80s?
I think it was late 80s to the mid 90s.
Because that WandaVision episode, it takes place in like the 80s. That's like their 80s episode is Full House.
Yeah. But it's also got a lot of like fucking Family Matters and...
Yeah.
Fucking Growing Pains and a lot of those.
I didn't watch a bunch of those old 90s sitcoms.
Most of the sitcoms I watched were from the 50s, 60s. Like I watched a pretty good chunk of
like
I Love
Boy Meets World and shit.
Tara watched a lot of Boy Meets World. I mean, I watched I Love Lucy and Bewitched and
But
all
like,
that stuff.
Do you know when was Boy Meets World made?
That was like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah.
In my head, it's from the 50s. It's like those type of shows. There's like I Love Lucy, like
Bewitched,
Bewitched,
Boy Meets World,
Sweaty the Hound Dog, Flipper,
Old Yeller.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
All
by
that stuff.
Sweaty the
Hound Dog.
Yeah.
Are we doing the podcast?
Well, anyways, welcome to this episode. We'll just do a soft We'll do a soft open. Soft open. Well, welcome to this episode.
Welcome to a tender kiss of a Kentucky Fried Roadkill episode. I am your coal mine Casanova, Treyton Blackburn.
And I am your giant jester, Evan Pride.
Well, welcome to another episode, gang.
Yeah.
We are living we're from Kentucky.
Yes.
And
this is a bad year for the state of Kentucky.
It's a bad year to be a Kentuckian.
In this month particularly.
Yes, because normally
if you give two shits about the sport of basketball in
college.
I mean,
it's Kentucky.
Yeah.
I mean, even I, who's not a sports boy,
yes,
is very invested in
UK basketball.
UK basketball.
Yes.
From afar, from a distance. Like I want to know if we won, but I don't want to watch the game. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, we are not even in the tournament this year.
No.
You know that, right?
Neither is Duke.
Neither is Duke.
Crazy.
Which is great, and neither is Louisville too.
Right? But
which this is a really weird conundrum that I have because my family, both my parents went to UK.
Yeah.
Just grew up as UK fans, living in the state of Kentucky. Most nearly all the towns outside of Louisville are UK fans, unless they're like in Bowling Green, WKU or whatever.
Right, yeah.
But for the most part, Kentucky bleeds blue.
Yes. The Cats, baby.
Yeah. But I grew up in Louisville, and U of L was very, very good when I was as was UK. I mean, I grew up. I remember like the John Wall era and all that, and Peyton Siva, I want to say, on Louisville's team. I don't really keep up with this, and I know it's all Greek to you probably.
Very. I remember the John Wall era though, but
because there was a dance you could associate with it.
That was that period of like Kentucky basketball history was inescapable.
Oh, and then like the very next year or 2 years later or something was the Brow, Anthony Davis.
Yep, the Brow.
Yeah,
Anthony
and then
Davis.
he's not really known for. He is well known in the NBA now.
Yeah.
He's on the Lakers. He's doing very well. He's actually.
I've heard John Wall's doing very well too. Is that true?
John Wall is on the Rockets now, which just the other day broke their 20-game loss streak.
Oh, well, good.
But it's
good
like it's a brand new team. Like him and Boogie Cousins, who also played at UK, they're both on the Rockets now, which it's their first year on it. James Harden just left the Rockets, as did Russell Westbrook. I don't know if that was this year or a couple of years ago. But pretty much all the Rockets star players left and joined the Brooklyn Nets. And then John Wall and Boogie came in, and now they're trying to get something going in Houston, which is not working out well so far. But Anthony Cousins, I think Anthony Davis, he's been injured the past couple whatever.
And John Calipari, I mean, he could run for governor.
I love John Calipari so much.
I mean, Coach Cal could.
Growing up here, you don't think much of it because
No.
that's like the only coach I really looked at other than Patino. Oh yeah, I should go back and finish that point. So hold on to Calipari.
You got it. Gladly.
Or I guess it leads into it because just growing up in Louisville, it's like you have two great teams to choose from. It's like growing up. I guess it's different in New York because like there's certain areas that are root for the Jets and certain areas that root for the Giants and stuff. But I'm sure there's another example out there of a city with two teams. Boston has like 40 teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't they have the Red Sox and the White Sox?
I think.
Yeah,
Perhaps I'm not the fount of information on this subject you're looking for.
Probably not. But either way, I had to make the decision to be a UK fan or a U of L fan.
Wow.
And ultimately, I liked blue more than I liked red.
Oh, that was
I wasn't much of a sports fan growing up either outside of football. Like I've always loved football. But basketball, but it was because I played football a little bit.
Right.
I suck at basketball so much.
Was it well, first I had a friend in my hometown in Pike County who his family huge UK fans. Like Pike County is pretty exclusively UK fans. Like if you're a Louisville fan in Pike County, I'm so fucking sorry.
No, yeah.
For the vibe you're going to get because it is pure like consternation.
No, yeah, it's like being a Duke fan in UK.
Yeah, like
which side note, both of my brothers, I have two brothers, they're both Duke fans because both of my uncles went to Duke, both my dad's brothers.
Wow.
They both went to Duke, which is not good enough of a reason for them to be Duke fans.
That's troubling.
It's troubling. It tears the family apart every fucking Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
They're wearing their fucking big D Duke shirts
Ugh.
with a little blue devil on
Disgusting.
it.
Filth.
And everybody else is bleeding blue right into the turkey.
Right. Yeah, it's a blue turkey.
Yeah, it's a blue turkey.
You've got the Wildcat mascot there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the whole But anyway.
Scratch.
Yeah, Scratch is there. Anyway, so my friend, he comes from a family of like diehard UK fans, and he went to college at Louisville out of spite because he hated the Wildcats so much.
Dude, I met people when I first got to UK, I would just be like, "Oh, whenever you meet someone who's from out of state, we get a lot of people from Chicago here. We get a lot of Ohio, obviously the bordering ones, but Chicago is weird because like nobody can afford to go to school in Chicago, so they have to go out of state. Oh shit, I lost my train of thought.
We have a lot of people who come here and then go out.
I just started talking about Chicago, and I just started picturing the deep dish pizza.
Yeah, that
there.
beautiful good stuff.
and I'm
Chicago.
honest. If I'm being honest, it sidelined me.
It's totally good.
It's so melty.
No, yeah, it's so good.
Fuck,
And that layer of sausage.
Oh
you
my
kidding?
god! And the pepperonis.
Wow.
On top.
Yes.
And
Powerful.
the sauce on top.
Ugh. Let's go get one.
Oh my god!
This has been Kentucky Fried Roadkill. I'm Trey Blackburn.
Yeah, we're gonna go get Giordano's. I think that's what it's called.
They're
in Chicago.
Yeah, I can't remember where Tara and I ate ours. There are like differing like schools of thought as to where you should eat your deep dish pizza in Chicago.
Yeah, there's Giordano's and then there's another one.
Yeah.
The first time I went to Chicago, I shit you not, we ate Old Chicago.
Oh my god, you didn't.
I think my mom.
You did not.
I think my mom thought it was authentic.
No.
So we ate Old
Evan,
Chicago.
No.
I have that memory. We may have been outside of Chicago, but we were like close enough. I just remember.
That's troubling.
I have this. I know I've had Old Chicago once, and it was not in the state of Kentucky.
Oh my god! I mean, Old Chicago's good. Like no diss to Old Chicago.
No, it was good. I thought it was authentic when I was eating it. I was like, "This is great."
Oh,
ooh, Mamma Mia! Oh, give me a fucking slice. Oh, what's better about Chicago, the hot dogs or the pizza?
I've never had a Chicago hot dog. So
you never had it with a big pepper and all those
No.
all the seeds and seasonings on it.
No, but that sounds good.
God, I really sidelined my train of thought with food, which happens a lot in my life, and I apologize to the listeners.
Do you
at some point?
Do you remember there was a coach that Kentucky had?
Adolph
No, not Adolph Rupp. But after him.
Yeah.
Was after
Adolph?
Tubby Smith, Billy Gillespie was his name, I think. And he was the worst.
I barely know him. Rick Pitino used
the
to
Benedict Arnold of Kentucky basketball.
Yeah. And now he's coaching I think he's coaching a team in the NCAA tournament right now.
Yeah, because
or he's coaching another
he's coaching a Catholic Catholic school.
Some random team. Which by the way, this is the year to be some random team in the NCAA tournament because they are doing very well. Oral Roberts.
Yep.
Oh shit! I have not kept up with the tournament at all. I filled it out.
Oh yeah.
I put Michigan went in it all just because the last thing I had listened to was like a Bill Burr podcast. And he's like, I don't know. I like Michigan. Why not?
I know.
So I was like, why not? So,
I know a lot of people who think that Gonzaga is going to win it all.
So I know about Gonzaga. I was just being a hater when I was filling mine out because if Gonzaga were to win, they would be one of the first teams in a long time to have won the full regular season and then straight through just full undefeated to the championship. But I think the last team that did that was Bob Knight coached the I think Indiana University, and fucking Larry Bird was on the team.
Larry Bird.
So I don't know if they have Larry Bird on this Gonzaga team, but I also have not been paying attention to the tournament or
well, if you haven't
or
been
the
paying
season
attention, God forbid,
at all.
Fuck, I'm not paying attention.
I barely know anything. All I know is that some big teams got knocked out early.
Yeah.
Ohio State did. Tennessee did, which it's nice to get to see those two knocked out.
Yeah.
Because
it's good to see smaller teams do well, I think.
It's cool, but also at the end of like when all is said and done in the record books, the season's gonna have an asterisk next to it.
Yeah, this is the COVID year.
Yeah, by the way, Duke or UK didn't make this year, so how valid is this?
Let me ask you something. Do you think that not just the tournament, but sports in general, like with Kentucky not doing well, do you think it has to do with the inability to have fans in the stands?
I hadn't considered that, but that may be something to do with it because Rupp Arena is fucking crazy when it is full. And it is just it's hard for me to go to games there. I've only been to a couple. Most of the UK games I've been to, I went to before I even got here.
Yeah.
So, but when you go in there, it's just so bright and blue.
Yeah.
And like, it's impossible to walk out of there without a headache. And it's so low. Let's get ready to rumble. All that shit. It's but the fans get fucking wild, and I don't think so. Actually, I thought about it because all sports have been dealing with that with no fans.
But here's the thing, right? So like these smaller teams, they're used to playing.
They're used to no fan
with
base.
Nobody being there.
That could be the case.
But the Cats, just imagine you're doing a play for a small audience versus a big amped audience.
Yeah.
Right? Like you and I know that energy is different.
It's the difference, but also they say this every year with UK and Duke teams because we're both infamous for the one and done.
Yeah.
Where I think this year was UK's youngest team ever, just collectively. It's pretty much all freshmen, and they're all freshmen who were coming into this season having gone through COVID at the end of their senior year.
Yeah.
So they haven't really played ball, and like they're not used to unless they went to a high school where the college or the basketball games were huge. They're not used to huge crowds. So it actually may throw them off when they get
the big
crowds.
Yeah.
But they travel and they go to different places, and different places have more people there than others. So it's interesting.
It's a crazy tournament from what I understand.
Here's a question.
Okay.
Kentucky is definitely more of a it's a basketball state.
It is. Yep.
Above anything. How do you think that turned out? Because I think it's weird We had a professional basketball team in the ABA in the 60s. We were the Kentucky Colonels, and we actually did pretty well. We were a pretty good team.
Yeah.
I forget who was on it or who coached it or whatever. He wore some cowboy hat or something. It was like a pastel blue or whatever. But they were good, but they didn't make the merger to the NBA. So Kentucky has gone without a professional sports team for a while now.
And Kentucky's a college basketball state.
It's definitely a college basketball state. Yeah, because we have no pro team to root for.
Right.
But I think it stems from honestly the heart of like a lot of basketball and just sports in general, football too, in the early like 1920s and 30s and shit.
Yeah.
Cleveland and like Ohio, that was like New York.
Yeah.
For football and basketball and shit.
Yeah. Sports are like a
I
don't know what you call like we're not the Midwest. We're not like, but like, what would you call the section of the country we live in?
It's so weird.
Like Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, like those were where like your basketballs and your footballs, like that's where those sports were kind of invented and perfected.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people would say they were perfected once they got into like New York and stuff. New York is just, when I think of the ultimate basketball city, it's got to be New York because it's just
interesting.
It's a concrete jungle.
Yeah.
And there's the courts there. It's just people are way more compressed, and the more talented people are going to go to the courts. And it's just the idea of rolling up to a New York basketball court for like a pickup game with just some of the people there, just people who like were gonna be in the NBA but like got injured or shit like that. They just hang out in those parks. I assume I've never
gone to the courts.
I've gone to the courts in Kentucky though, and I know that's intimidating for me. For me, I'm rolling up with my basketball. Yeah, my LeBrons that are half a size too small, so they hurt my feet. I still haven't broken them in.
Man, I don't know how I got through life never learning to play any sport. Like I feel like
it's pretty easy. I think especially nowadays. If we'd grown up in the 30s, different story. We would have both played baseball probably.
Yeah.
But it's just growing up with technology and electronics. I was a gamer kid. Like
I was too.
I played football, and I like hung out with friends sometimes, and I was a Boy Scout, so sometimes I went camping and went outside.
I always forget you were a Boy Scout.
But above all, I was a freaking gamer kid. I was just all weekend. Dude, I loved Fridays. I would come home from school on Friday, sit down in my fucking chair, turn on, if I had a new game, if like a new game had come out that week on like Tuesday, I would get it sometime in the middle of the week, like kind of get the intro down, and then Friday would come, and then I was diving in. Yeah,
full diving.
And I remember one weekend I beat the entire game of Deadpool just in one sitting, and it was like the perfect weekend game. I got all the achievements. I 100% of the game just as best as you could do in one weekend, and my eyes were aching and they were fucking bloodshot at the end of it. And I ate nothing but sweet tea and DiOreos.
Well,
that'll make you shit.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Shout out DiOreos in Louisville.
I was a gamer kid, but I wasn't exclusively a video gamer kid. Like I played a lot of.
Oh, you did like board games, and that's.
I played a lot of board games,
and that's apparent when you go over to board game night at Treyton Blackburn's house. Most people don't have board game nights,
no,
and that's honestly such a cool thing about you. It's like beyond D&D. D&D's a thing. It's like a nerdy thing or whatever, role playing. But just cool board games, like the role playing board games for the most part, you gravitate towards. But I
love Betrayal at the House on the Hill. That's a great game.
Trey Parker, the guy who does South Park, one of the guys that does South Park, but the main guy, he is obsessed with board games, and he puts it into South Park sometimes. He has the character of Stan just be overly obsessed with board games, and then they had this one whole episode where it was all centered around board games, and it's so funny the specificity of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like board game culture is just it's such a fun one because it's like I don't know. I don't know. It's like Comic-Con culture and like D&D culture, but like mixed because it's like people who are just interested in that stuff, but less willing to dress up and I don't know. There's a lot of board games that don't have like a whole lore and a whole adventure and a whole campaign. You could just jump in and shit.
Oh yeah, I fucking love that stuff. I love like there are games that people have never heard of. Like I love Kill Dr. Lucky, which is a cool game. It's essentially Clue, but instead of trying to solve the murder, everyone's trying to commit it. So like there's one pawn that moves automatically, and that's Dr. Lucky, and you have essentially what you have to do is you have to get a weapon and get Dr. Lucky alone with no witnesses so that you can kill him. And that's the game. That's rules. Interesting. It's so fun.
I always wanted to play like the actual game of like Zathura or Jumanji or whatever.
I have Jumanji.
You have Jumanji?
I do. I have
it's
Jumanji.
It's an actual game, right?
Mm-hmm.
They I remember reading that. It's so weird. I remember reading that book at I just checked it out of a library when I was a little kid. Just I thought the cover was cool, and I read Jumanji, and then I found out it was like this cult classic.
Oh yeah.
And then fucking Jack Black played a chick in the in the next two.
Oh, so good.
And Kevin Hart played. I didn't see the second one of those remakes.
I want to. I loved the first remake.
I saw the first one. It was a genuinely good movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It's like a classic, just it's like a classic modern age, just good kids action adventure movie.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart, you say what you will about him. Maybe he's like a sellout or whatever.
Sure.
Or he's one of those guys who's like hustle grind hard every day, 6 a.m. wake up, which is kind of cringe, but he also does it. So it's like if anybody can say it, it's like him and The Rock. That there's that. But aside from all of that, I love Kevin Hart. He's just one of the funniest people.
I didn't realize you had such an affinity for Kevin Hart.
I love comedy. So,
you do.
Well, I knew him first as a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the first comedians I discovered on Netflix. I remember.
Yeah.
His 2011 special, Seriously Funny. Had a green background, him chilling in a suit, and it was seriously funny. I'll tell you that. It lived up to the title. But no, when he started being in movies, he's just one of those guys. He's like Eddie Murphy. I'm drawing that example for obvious bigoted reasons, internalized. That's just the example that came to mind. but
he's like Richard Pryor.
Well, he's not.
No, he's not like Richard Pryor.
He's like Eddie Murphy, or here he's like Eddie Murphy, Will Ferrell, Fred Willard. Name any actor who they can make a scene funny just instantly, just without doing anything, no lines, just their being is funny.
Yeah,
like Will Ferrell, Robin Williams.
Oh yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah, but like I thought of Eddie Murphy because I think Eddie Murphy's the ultimate example of that.
Yeah.
Of just you put him in anything, any shitty movie, it's still kind of fun when Eddie Murphy's on screen.
Yeah,
and the same
Jackie
Kevin
Chan's
Hart.
a good example too. It's hard to not like when Jackie Chan's on screen.
Yeah, he's pretty lovable. There's some people. What is it with Americans? We just love. There's certain celebrities that we just find so lovable and like just our little darlings.
I don't know. I don't know what it is about.
America's obsessed with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, Oprah was huge. She's still huge, but
I mean, she's still Oprah. You know,
she's still Oprah. But Ellen was also huge when I was growing up, and that's
not so much anymore.
Not the case anymore. Which, by the way, I love Ellen.
Whoa, that's a controversial statement.
I love Ellen. She is. Dude,
even after knowing that she was so shitty to the people she worked with.
Well, listen, I'm not defending that. I mean, you should be a nice person, yada yada yada. But also, you have to look at it from Ellen's.
Woo!
You be a nice
yada yada yada.
Well, I say that I'd say that disrespectfully. You see, no. I mean, I never got read into all the things that they said, but essentially, the like when people would give you synopsis, they would just be like, turns out Ellen's a dick.
Yeah,
she's just mean to everybody. And it doesn't come out of left field because I guess it is if you're just watching Ellen as who she is on the TV. She comes in onto the TV dancing all smiley and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you look at her as an actual human being and you know the shit that she has been through, oh my God, dude,
I'd be a dick too.
I would be a dick too if I ran one of the. I mean, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't be a dick. But no, I mean, I'm not Ellen. If I were her and I had to deal with all the shit that she came up with, first of all, she doesn't get credit enough for being a killer stand-up comic in the 90s and when she was coming up. With that last special that she put out, that was a mistake. Things that Ellen have been doing recently have been missteps. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But Ellen as a person, just all the shit that she had to go through coming up in the world when comedy was, I mean, some people still call it a boys club, but it was a boys club
boys,
in the fucking 80s and 90s, dude. And she came up when that had a sitcom, which I didn't watch too much of, but have you ever watched like the old Ellen Degeneres show or whatever? Fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Fucking one of the good sitcoms of the 90s.
Interesting.
There are some like I'm not a fan of Friends. Huge fan of Seinfeld. I think Friends is a great example of lazy writing and just kind of
hate Friends.
Bubblegum sitcom shit. And I think Seinfeld is a great example of perfect pinpoint accuracy writing, great acting. Just a sitcom is supposed to be like you're capturing a live performance.
Yeah,
and that really was what Seinfeld was, and the Ellen Show too. So Ellen Show was a great fucking show. And then it is crazy. You go back, you watch a video on the history of the Ellen Show that she had this big episode where she was like teasing it the whole fucking series that she was gay. And then her big episode, what'd they call it? The puppy episode. Because like they just told network executives like, what's this episode about? Is like, oh, Ellen's getting a puppy, because they just didn't want to tell him.
Right.
And then she came out in a fucking in a hilarious way. She leans in, she like, Helen, I'm gay, and she leans into the microphone, and everybody in the airport's like, huh? And then they fucking took away her
Pulled the show,
canceled the show. People hated her. There are these clips of her on Oprah. This is I had
You've really
I had a
given
real
the Ellen issue a lot of thought.
She's a comedian. She's in my world.
Yeah.
She's and I have a lot of respect for her, everything she did coming up and stuff.
Yeah.
And yada yada yada. Oh, fucking her on Oprah after she came out, and just people would stand up like, but you're shoving it down our throats. There's children that watch the show,
because people are always like that.
It was just fucking ridiculous, and Ellen just, I don't know, she just, I just remember watching that Oprah interview. I just got sucked into it one night. I had a real girl hour. I was
real girl hour.
I was popping popcorn.
Yeah.
I was really going in. I had my PJs on.
Yeah.
And I was just watching like Oprah interviews, and I watched this Ellen one, and she's just so cool, calm, collected in the moment. She's funny. She has funny responses, and shuts down all the people in the audience.
Yeah.
And then she had a talk show, which I watched growing up, and I loved, and yeah, it's like bubblegum morning show stuff. But I think she's an overall inspirational person, and I don't personally, personally, you should be nice, but I don't hold it against people if they're not nice.
Interesting.
Like I think some people are allowed to be a little mean.
Sure. I think some people are allowed to be.
Some people are allowed to be a little mean. If I were fucking so everybody goes on the Ellen show. That's probably why a million allegations came out and stuff. Of people who's like, I finally met Ellen and she was like a dick out of nowhere. Like all these people that like sang a song in the middle of a Denny's and then they went viral and so they ended up on the show. It's a bunch of normal folks that end up on that show and probably got to see her in the hallways in the background and stuff. And it was probably she was probably just very cold, just like I run this whole empire. I'm having a busy day. I'm trying to keep this show going. I'm super fucking busy. I got to go on stage for hours and conduct this whole audience and stuff. Got to put on the smiling face and dance and act like I give a shit about some kid who carved a watermelon into a fucking hat or whatever. Whoever's on the fucking show that week. I don't know. I can see where her frustrations and meanness would come from.
Well, and here
I will say that being said, I don't know the allegations. If she like fucking stabs someone who's just chilling at the craft table service, that's a different story. But if she was just a little rude and a little short with people and a little cold, and just, I mean, it is kind of crazy. Like I did hear that she had a rule that like you couldn't look at her. That's kind of weird. But don't look at her.
Actually,
I don't know.
I'm
defending Ellen.
I worked with an actress one time. Let's call her. Let's call her Snively.
Okay.
Let's call her Snively that I worked with. She was a very, 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 I mean, probably one of the most talented actresses I've ever worked with. She was a character actress.
Yes.
Very, very smart. Very, very funny. Very, very like engaged and in the moment.
Shout out.
Snively.
Snively. Okay.
Yeah. And Snively was we were in a show together for the very first time. I believe it was Alice in Wonderland, and she was understudying the Mad Hatter.
Yes.
And I was excited that she was in the show.
Wait, were you playing the Mad Hatter?
No, I was playing the Cheshire Cat.
Why wouldn't you play the Mad Hatter?
Because the Cheshire Cat was a puppet.
Oh, okay.
Why.
That makes sense.
That's why I was the Cheshire Cat. Anyway, she was understudying the Mad Hatter. And I was so excited to have her in the show, and I went up to her backstage and tried to talk to her and tell her how excited I was. And I was talking, and she put her hand in my face, and she looked at me, and she was like, "You can't talk to me right now. Go away." Because she was like getting into her space.
Yeah, yeah.
And at the time when I was like a 15, 16-year-old kid, I was like, that really hurt my feelings that she spoke to me that way. But in retrospect, I'm like, that's everybody has their own process, right?
Yeah, yeah. Finish your thought.
Well, and I was just gonna say, like you can't like act as though people aren't afforded that sort of space and time if that's what they need.
Yeah, and you also have to remember that I assume she was older. She was like a professional actor or something.
Yeah, she was.
Or getting there or
she
whatever.
Was very young, early 30s, I would say.
Okay, but
Late
it was
20s,
like a profession
30s.
for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you have to remember that like these celebrities like Ellen and I don't know, rock stars and people who are big in the public eye, there's that thing, never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
And they say that because your expectations of them, you're watching them on TV, you're seeing their final produced product of whatever their art is, and they've been working on that for their whole lives, pouring their soul into it, whatever it is, assuming it's a good artistic whatever they're making. But people don't you don't really make the connection that like celebrities, they're just people, they're just humans like us. And so if I don't know,
right,
if you go see a big rock star or comedians. This is a better example, because comedians are more accessible.
Right.
Normally they go out after their shows and say stuff or whatever. You know, people are very let me take a good example. There's this comic named Bert Kreischer, who he calls himself the Machine. A lot of people know him. He's very funny, very popular, but he takes his shirt off. He's like this party animal guy, and he has that persona. And so people crowd to him. People think he's very accessible. Everybody wants to take a shot with them if they go take a show. But people forget that he's like a real person. He's like, hey man, I'm trying to, like, I have a show to perform. I have like 2 shows, and like I know that like it's nice to meet you after this show, but I have another show to do after this.
I can't be doing shots.
I can't be I can't be drunk on stage. I'm a little drunk on stage, but he's kind of known for that. But you have to. But both comedians, professionals, I'll get away from that Ellen example, but like a big rock star getting in their zone before a show, you got to give them their space to be a professional. And then also after a show, I remember, who was the kid, Ben Platt, right?
Yeah.
Evan Hansen. You're Evan Hansen. I remember he had a thing a couple years ago where he, first of all, love that guy, Ben Platt.
Very good. Very
what a talent. And Dear Evan Hansen was what a show.
Yeah.
Like
what vulnerability.
Yeah. What a cool show. I think Pasek and Paul, the creative team that made it, they've made a bunch of really cool stuff.
Yeah.
All that really cool, yada, yada, yada. But I remember Ben Platt, it was very, very popular. And everybody wanted to meet Ben Platt because like he's this young, charming, very likable kid. He was on Pitch Perfect.
He's very talented.
Very talented. Just, I would want to meet him. I'd want to get a picture with him. And he had to be like, hey, thanks for coming to the show. Thanks for being fans and stuff. But just know I can't come out and like sign autographs and like shake hands and meet everybody after the show because I'm singing like the highest notes ever written for a fucking musical and I have to preserve my voice. He's like, you don't understand. Like, I don't talk to my wife in the morning so I can do this show for you. So I don't know. It's that disconnect. And with people who are not in entertainment, they view entertainment as what it is, entertainment. So they don't really think of it
as work,
the business or the work or the industry or anything of that behind it. But it is.
Well, and there's so much of yourself that goes into it, right?
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
You're putting
depends on what you're doing, but
yeah,
like, yeah.
But even at the smallest level, like you're putting like at least your appearance.
Yeah.
And giving that to an audience, right?
Yeah,
and people like, cause like even on the small scale with like people like you and I, when I was an actor, I don't know that I consider myself an actor anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if I do anymore.
But I'm a big, I was known for sort of very big character-y performances.
Yeah, me as well, I would say.
And people always assumed because of that like I was super fun in a rehearsal process, like as an actor, and you can attest to this because when you act with me,
I think you're fun in a rehearsal process.
But I'm all work. Like there is no,
you are all work.
I'm like, well, how is this gonna work?
I enjoy it because I find the work fun too. So we're figuring out together, which is fun for us. But we're into theater, so if someone who just came and watched the show.
It's like, oh my God, I'm so excited to work with Treyton. I'm like, I promise you it'll wear off. I promise you will. 2 weeks from now, you'll be like, Treyton just like has no fun in rehearsal.
Yeah. When Treyton keeps Socratesing you, like, all right, why though?
Yeah. Yeah.
But why? But
and another thing.
But that's a motivation. We need an action to
carry that. Yeah. Well, and the thing is like, for you and I both, like, the physical aspect of our performances are usually pretty crucial to the story we're trying to tell. And like, if I start, joking around, I'm going to get hurt.
I have gotten hurt in rehearsal because I'm a professional in rehearsals 90% of the time.
Right.
But that I am 10% always just like as soon as like we're not doing the scene and we're standing around,
Uh-huh.
the director's over in the corner talking to somebody else, I know I'm not being spoken to.
Right.
I know you're supposed to be quiet so everything stays orderly and stuff.
Yeah.
But I am always like, I can't help it. I turn to the person next to me. I'm like, this fucking scene. I just start talking.
Yeah.
And eventually it gets other people talking, and the stage manager has to go, quiet, please.
Quiet, please. God bless stage managers. They do God's work.
They
Hey, if
do.
you're a stage manager out there, thank you for all that you do. You're great.
Yeah. You don't think about there's stage managers outside of theater. Like every time you go to like a big rock concert, or even anything that's just a big event, like like you go to a game at Rupp Arena,
There's a
basketball
stage
game.
manager.
There's someone behind the scenes going, all right, now send
Go.
this person out. Go. What's that? This is supposed to be happening. The president's supposed to be giving a speech. There's supposed to be a big pair of scissors on stage right now.
Yeah.
They're like,
yeah.
ma'am, that's a court, not a stage.
Yeah. He's going off script.
He's going off script. They're playing a game.
But
Who got this theater stage manager to work this game? Quiet, please, to the audience.
Please. Yeah. But you remember when we were in Henry V together.
Yes.
There was it wasn't a fight, but it was a very physical scene where I was leaping at another actor, and it was not in the round, but it was in 3/4 thrust.
Yes.
Which means we have audience on three sides for those of you people who are theater nerds.
Yeah.
And I'm jumping toward the audience, and another actor is catching me, and the image that the director wanted was like, I've been held and like my limbs are still going, like I'm still attempting to fly through the air.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very funny image. But I mean, you remember when we choreographed that? It could not have been a more serious moment for me, because if it goes even a little bit sour, I'm in the audience.
Yeah.
That's where I am if it goes even a little bit wrong. And like, people think
there's some dangerous shit we do in theater.
We do some dangerous shit.
Dude,
people
in high school, I had to jump from the stage to like this little narrow, like it was like a half wall.
Yeah.
That was in between, like it was like the stairs, half wall, and then a big drop.
Ooh.
And so it was like and so I had to do this little jump, and I was wearing all full bodysuit, like what were those, not latex, but like the spandex
yeah
suit. So my feet were slick, but they were just like sweaty by that point in the show, so I just relied on that. But like I could have easily either killed myself or killed myself and an audience member by falling into them.
Well, and like, with me, like, people I think take for granted a lot of like the physical control it takes to do certain things.
Yeah.
Like me sort of flailing my limbs in somebody else's arm is really hard, because like, especially with your legs, it's so reliant on being able to like get them up off the ground to get that nice, fun movement.
Yeah.
But like when I was being held in that scene, like it was all I had to use
all core.
I mean,
and
then I had lines after that. As soon as I got put down, I had to go straight into speaking, and it was a tough moment for me, physically. It was hard.
Yeah. Especially the singing aspect of you directed Peter and the Starcatcher,
which is a physical nightmare.
Very, very physical show. Very exhausting.
Marathon show.
A lot of fun to do.
I couldn't believe, like, I think every single member of that cast has told me I thought I was going to pass out at least once.
Yeah, well, because at the end of the first act, there was this big number called "Swim On,"
which is a great and beautiful song.
Against the current, and we're all singing, and it's a play, but there's a couple of musical numbers.
Yeah.
So
and a lot of underscoring.
Yeah. So we have to do this whole big number while we're all running around, and we have to push these big crates across the stage, and we're picking up people and carrying them and putting them on other things, and at one point someone someone like falls down on us, and we're all carrying them up in the air.
Molly falls.
Yeah.
The wave scene.
Yeah. It was physical, and like it ended with like me having to run up this like stairs to get to the top of the balcony and be like, swear and just no breath left. And then we would run. Then it was intermission, 10 minutes or whatever. We'd all run downstairs, change into mermaid costumes,
and do the second musical number,
and then sprint out and do the second musical number, which also was accompanied with us dancing as mermaids. A floor dance, which was all core.
Yeah.
So that it was just like that show just punched you in the gut in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
And the whole time you're having to sing and act and like be present and focused on stage and whatever. I don't know. It gives you I think it gives me an appreciation for not only athletes, but professional athletes who play in shit like the NBA,
right,
and the NFL, playing in the fucking Super Bowl. I can't imagine the pressure. And just knowing you go to the Rose Bowl, I think this doesn't sound right, but I think it might be right. I think they can fit like 500,000, 250,000 people.
Insane.
Inside the Rose Bowl. And they're all just looking right at you.
Yeah.
First,
and like,
or fourth and one.
And fucking, like, if you're playing the Super Bowl halftime show, right, knowing there's some dumb dick who's going to go on the internet and be like, well, I didn't think it was that good. Well, fuck you, dude.
Oh, the Super Bowl halftime.
Fuck you, man.
The Super Bowl halftime show, it's probably the ultimate example of that, because it's a giant live performance with probably hundreds of thousands of people actually watching it there live.
Yeah.
Maybe not this year.
If you can dance like Shakira in your 50s, you can say whatever the fuck you want. But if you can't, fuck off.
Yeah, and then they got millions of people on the internet and shit watching. The Weeknd did it this year.
I really liked The Weeknd's halftime show.
I did too. Well, the thing that people rag on. People are always going to rag on something. It's like being the host of the Oscars. You just can't win. There's no winning.
No.
You're hosting. You're like the featured thing on a big event that means so much to everybody there, and they don't give a flying fuck about you or how well you do or anything. Both they're
just waiting for something to be like, well, I didn't like it.
The players are just waiting to get back on the field to fucking score touchdowns, and the actors are just and producers are just waiting to get their fucking Oscars.
Yeah,
they don't want to sit there and get roasted by some old comedian.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, high pressure situations.
Well, and this is slightly off topic, but rounding back to our own personal experiences in the theater, I've heard this before. I've gotten this question. People often ask me as an actor and as a director, which would you rather do, comedy or drama? And my answer is always drama, because it's easier. Comedy is so fucking hard.
It is.
Because here's the thing.
Drama you can just be like, you didn't like it, well, you just didn't get it.
Well, or even like
whatever.
Drama, you get to draw on shit that's already in you, right? Like, you get to pull on your own sort of internal. But like with comedy's very specific, and it's very physical, and it's very like set up, punchline. Like you have to set the joke up, and then you have to deliver the punchline. Like if you miss either step, you're fucked.
There's a structure to it, and there's a timing, and it's all in the timing, which is
all in the timing.
The show I directed.
Yeah,
I was at when I was a theater major. Still am a theater major. I just haven't really done shit in like 2 years.
In 2 years, yeah.
So I feel retired. But yeah.
But that's the thing about comedy is like
it's hard.
It is. It's very hard.
It has to be a two-way streak. It's like theater. Theater's not theater without an audience. Comedy's not comedy without an audience. And there's this big thing. Like I say that I hold true that I will defend a joke, funny or not, if I know the place of intent.
Sure.
If the place of intent at a comedy show, most all the time, nearly all the time, it's all intended to make you laugh, to make you feel good, to help you forget about your day. There's some people that do that in a very edgy way that address taboo politics and stuff, and or all that stuff that are very what would you call it? I don't know, just the blanket offensive comedians.
Sure.
But it's all coming from intent.
Yeah.
And whether a joke lands or not, it's still an attempt at humor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still the practicing of the art form.
Right.
But the thing is, it's not comedy unless they laugh.
Right.
It's not really funny unless they laugh.
That's
You're
right.
just trying to be funny. It's like if you saw a drama, it's like, it didn't get there. You were trying to be dramatic, but you just
No. Well, and it's
everything could be dramatic.
Yeah, and it's the I will hang my hat on anything that requires an audience is testability. Like, you want to know if you succeeded? Did your audience laugh? It's that simple.
Yeah.
Did they
audience
laugh? It was funny. And here's the thing about funny, and I think people who direct comedy, the worst experiences I've ever had as an actor is being in a comedy when the director doesn't know
what's funny?
Yes. Like when you have to go to the
that
director.
was me doing Shrek.
And you have to be like, no, let me play it this way because this is what is funny about that moment. This is what's going to get the laugh.
Oh my God, dude. That is the story of my life as an actor. Because you're one of my favorite directors to have worked with because you have one of my favorite directing styles, which is kind of like, you figure it out. We'll figure it out together. We'll guide it along. Try it out. See what comes out. Maybe we'll try it another way. Whatever. You very lead the actors to it.
Yeah.
As opposed to some directors who's like, okay, you're gonna 3 steps and then left turn.
Yeah.
Come across to right here. Are you writing this down? And then pose, left hand over the right shoulder. And do a little flip or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever they think is funny, whatever they saw on the fucking Dick Van Dyke show back in the day, and they're trying to reproduce for now. I'm like, just let me be an actor. Let me figure it out. Figure out what's comfortable. Because if I have to force funny, it's especially not going to be funny.
Well, and I think it also speaks to my experience in puppetry and your experience in puppetry as well.
Yes. Which only stems from my experience with you.
Yeah. But when we were doing Little Shop, the show where we met, before we had the plant puppet, I was like, give me a stool. Let me just go up there and move. Let me just go up there and move as though I'm puppeteering this plant. And everybody thought it was the dumbest waste of space that they had ever seen. But
I thought you looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the fuck you were doing.
But when the puppet came in the room,
it was awesome.
I know.
It was awesome.
Because when you're puppeteering.
It was like, holy shit.
Yeah, because I had people record me moving without the puppet so I could see what my body looked like.
Yeah.
And I could imagine myself in the puppet because.
And you were like fully expressive too. You were like furling your eyebrows and like making faces and shit. You were fully in that character of a plant.
Right.
This was for Little Shop. I don't know if you said that.
Audrey too, yeah.
Yeah, Audrey too.
Because though I was not the voice for Audrey 2,
no.
Everything the audience was going to see about Audrey 2 was me. So I had to understand sort of not only the character that I wanted to put into my puppeteering, I also needed to understand the character that the director was directing and the voice actor was providing. Like, the three of us had to get on the same page as to what Audrey 2 was going to be.
And you guys figured it out.
Yeah,
sure.
I had a
shout out to I don't know if we're dropping names, but if you know the guy who did the voice of Audrey 2 in Little Shop when we did it, shout out to Mason. We'll say his first name.
He was very trusting.
Such a talent. Such a voice. Dude.
Yeah, and very trusting of what I wanted. He was very deferential to my experience as a puppeteer, which was flattering. But and he was also very helpful in like letting me know when he was going to switch up deliveries, and I told him because when you're puppeteering something you're not doing the voice for. Yeah.
Can you imagine though if you were the voice for Audrey too?
Feed me, Seymour. Not good. But I told him, I was like, I don't care if you switch up deliveries. You just need to run it by me first because I'll look like a jackass out there, and nobody will have to see you. They'll see the puppet fuck up and think it's my fault. But that's, and puppeteering is a fucking taxing.
Yeah, dude,
taxing.
I remember you would crawl out of that puppet and you'd crawl out and I remember one time distinctly you crawling out and you already were shirtless. Like you had taken off your shirt.
I did.
In the puppet.
Because that puppet.
Dude, you had a 6-pack at the time because you have zero body fat as is, but with all the exercise for once, it was just you were fucking ripped. Yeah.
I was. Audrey 2 is I've puppeteered it twice. In my career, it's a because the puppets are made so differently from production company to production company. First time I puppeteered Audrey 2, there was fucking no room inside that puppet. You just had to sort of grin and bear whatever you were getting.
Yeah.
But the second time, the UK puppet, I actually had some wiggle room inside the puppet.
And there were supports and straps in it.
Yeah, but I almost passed out in the UK puppet on stage during a tech rehearsal because Nancy, the director, she called a hold for something technical, and I guess I don't know if she forgot that I was in the plant. Or
I remember that.
It didn't occur to her that might be an issue. And with the Audrey 2 puppet, the one we were using for UK,
it's hot as fuck.
Well, not only hot, but you had to support the hinges on your abdomen.
Yeah.
You had to support that weight.
Yeah, I remember you would buckle in.
Yeah,
you'd get in
because
there.
that's where all the weight is holding. So you have to keep if you're having to keep it, where it needs to be, you've got to have your core muscles engaged the whole time. And this hold just kept going, and I was running out of strength. I was like,
yeah.
I saw the fucking dots before you.
Dude, I remember. Was that when you just threw the thing off you? You just crawled out of it
I was literally trying to get somebody's attention. Tomko got to me before a techie that we used to work with. We'll call him Tomko.
Yes.
He got to me on stage before I passed out because he's like, I saw the pod start to wobble, so I figured I should come over and check on you. I was like, get me out of this thing.
I need water and
oxygen, please. And the director was like, what's going on?
Is something wrong?
Are you okay? No.
Yeah.
And I understand it. As a director, sometimes you're just so into fixing the problem that you don't.
I would have forgot about your ass.
Yeah.
You're in a fucking puppet. Yeah. And especially in a Q to Q
scenario.
When yell and hold that.
But boy, I was literally if I pass out in this plant, I think I'll be okay. I'll wake back up.
Yeah.
They'll just start the show back and the puppet will move. And I'll be curious as to what's going on.
All right. Well, we're about an hour here.
Really?
Yeah. Already.
Wow, this has flown by.
It's funny because Treyton walked in. He's like, I don't have a single thing to talk about this episode.
I didn't. I really didn't.
No. Yeah.
This has been fucking. Hey, look at us, titans of physical fitness and physical performance here.
Yeah, I know. So we wanted to end this episode.
Yes.
By bringing it back to Kentucky. And we're gonna play a game. Just what is the Mount Rushmore of
That's
Kentucky?
The game.
So
yeah.
I love doing this, playing just doing Mount Rushmores. I'm one of those guys. I love making lists. I wake up at 3 a.m. I need to make a list of my top 10 favorite bass guitarists, and I will. It'll just drive me.
So the rules of Mount Rushmore:
4 people.
4 people.
Who will?
Are we talking about influence or what we consider to be greatness?
So just Kentucky. What
4
is
people?
4 heads that are going to be carved into Via Ferrata or the Red River Gorge or something.
Yeah.
Is that in Kentucky?
That is.
Okay, yeah.
I was just there.
The side of the gorge is going to be these 4 heads from now on. So one has to be Muhammad Ali.
Yes, I will agree. Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali, the champ, the greatest.
I would argue one of the Kentuckians.
The Kentuckians.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about Louisville, Kentucky. Little place doesn't get much respect. Louisville, Kentucky. One of my favorites.
Muhammad Ali, the best.
Which also, I had a bit about this a little. I wish that people would bring back like shit talking like Muhammad Ali used to do, because he would rhyme at you.
He would.
He would spit rhymes. He's like, I can't even make it up right now, because it was so, he had to have written them beforehand. That, or he was just a poet too.
Yeah.
But fucking Muhammad Ali, number one, man.
Here's a number 2 for you.
Okay.
And I just don't think you can talk about Kentucky as a whole and like the history of Kentucky without putting Henry Clay up there.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say Daniel Boone.
No, fuck Daniel Boone.
Okay. Henry Clay. That's
Henry Clay was a senator from Kentucky.
I didn't know he was from Kentucky.
Yep, Henry Clay. He lived just outside of, I think he might have lived in Lexington, actually. I think the Henry Clay estate is in Lexington.
Well, there's Henry Clay High School here, so
yeah,
so
Henry,
that makes sense.
He was a very, very, very influential statesman. He brokered a lot of compromise in the early days of the country. Mm-hmm. Infamously, and not very greatly, he brokered the 3/5 compromise.
Ooh,
yeah, that
what a compromise.
Yeah, to say, but
the worst part about that, besides a bunch of things, is that it's the compromise. They had to compromise down to 3/5.
And you got to understand that Henry Clay, you know, you had abolitionists who wanted the country to exist without slavery. You had these slave states where, you know, slavery was integral to their plantation economies. And while I'm not defending that horrid atrocity, cultural genocide, actual genocide,
it was the context of back then.
Yeah. America would not have happened had Henry Clay not brokered the 3/5 compromise. The Civil War would have began earlier. We would have been vulnerable to our enemies. We would have been taken out in the War of 1812. There would be no United States.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And though, or at least that's speculative history. Who's to say what would have happened? But that is the most likely argument I can see.
Yes.
So just
I'll agree with that.
His sheer column status as a founder and statesman, I think Henry Clay has to be right up there.
Yes. Okay. So we got
Muhammad Ali and Henry Clay,
and then so people's first reaction when they hear Kentucky, especially if you go back in time with old historical dudes.
Yeah.
I think I pulled up famous people from Kentucky on my little screen right here. I think Honest Abe right there, Abe Lincoln.
But we take issue with that.
Yes. So Abe, I think he's technically born in Kentucky.
He was born here,
and that's about it.
Yeah.
Like you drive all over the state. He grew up in Illinois and he was a lawyer in Chicago, right? Or am I thinking of Obama?
I think he was a lawyer in Illinois. Obama was a law professor in Chicago.
Oh,
and community organizer, in fact.
Law, whatever.
But Lincoln was a lawyer in Illinois.
Yeah, so you drive through the states of Kentucky, Illinois. From the drive from Chicago to like Lexington, you will come across 13 different birthplaces of Lincoln.
Lincoln shat here.
Yeah, Lincoln. So it's like, I think one of them is his original birthplace. I remember me and my mom and my brother and my grandma went to one time, and we went on this whole tour, and we were looking at this big cabin that they had in another house. It was like a house inside a houseception. It was like they had a gift shop. They had a whole tour and everything, and it was like a big sign on the highway, birthplace of Lincoln, and I just remember I raised my hand at the end of the presentation, and I was like, so he was born in this cabin, and he's like, well, not exactly. This is a replica of the type of cabin that was around at the time when Lincoln was born. Yeah. So, and this actually is not his birthplace.
Then what the fuck are we doing here?
Pretty much. That was like, I was like, what the fuck is even the point? Why would you build this thing? We paid $20 for this. Yeah. But Lincoln, no, he was born in Kentucky, but he
is an Illinois claim. I don't think we get to claim Lincoln.
It would be wrong to the fine people of Illinois who are trying to create their Illinois Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. Hey, if anybody from Illinois is listening to this, he's yours.
He's yours.
You
guys got him.
We just signed him over.
Which kills me because I love Abe.
Everybody loves Abe.
Everybody loves
but he's yours, not ours.
The good five.
So let's continue down the road of Kentucky.
It gets a little sparse.
Yeah,
after
because
that.
I think Muhammad Ali and Henry Clay are two very sort of obvious choices.
So holy shit. I didn't know Michael Shannon was from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Jefferson Davis,
president of the Confederacy, who will not be on our Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, so after that, it's a bunch of actors, pretty much. You got Johnny Depp and George Clooney, who are both from Owensboro, I think, right?
Yeah. Boyd Holbrook is an actor, and he is from Prestonsburg, Kentucky.
J-Law.
She's from Louisville, yeah.
Yeah. Billy Ray. I forgot about Billy
Ray.
Oh, my God.
Gosh.
Josh Hutcherson. Chris Stapleton, although I'll let Tennessee take Chris
No.
Stapleton.
This is a solid pick, I think. I think this is a solid pick. I think Hunter S Thompson has to be on the list.
Shit. Dude, I didn't even know Hunter S Thompson was from Kentucky.
He is like half of Louisville.
Oh, he is.
Hunter S Thompson is so. How do I know this and you not know?
How do I not, dude? I would go to Forecastle and I would see
the puppet,
the giant puppet.
I worked for that puppet.
I bet you fucking did.
I did.
Holy shit! It's all coming together now.
Yeah.
Holy shit! He's from Louisville. How did I not know that?
I don't know.
Dude, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I think
classic.
I think Hunter S Thompson is on the Kentucky Mount Rushmore.
He would have to just his I know he's like
gonzo journalism. His collaborations with Stedman.
He's a great example of someone who you don't really I've never read any of his books or any of his articles or any of that. I've seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and I'm familiar with Hunter S. Thompson's
whole energy,
his whole crazy have you ever read his drug routine?
I've not.
His oh my God, it's we'll close the episode by reading it.
Okay, great.
It's I think we're stealing from a Joe Rogan bit. I think classic Joe Rogan bit. but it's insane. Just because you don't know it, I'll read it to you.
I think that
and I want you to do.
I've been told that I have Hunter S. Thompson energy.
You do. He was an insane person, but brilliant.
Oh gosh, that's another good one.
Take that compliment.
That is another.
Ooh, Rajon Rondo, Harry Dean Stanton.
Loretta Lynn, man.
I was reading about
the queen of country music.
Oh, Loretta Lynn.
Loretta Lynn, coal miner's daughter.
Mary Todd Lincoln. I'd feel more comfortable claiming her than Abe. She probably grew up more here. Nick Clooney. Okay. Chris Hardwick.
I didn't know Chris Hardwick was from Kentucky.
There's no way. Kentucky?
Louisville.
What?
Yeah. Hey, man, learn your fucking city, dude.
Oh, by the way, we're on famouspeople.com, so who knows how accurate this is.
Sean King is from Kentucky? What the hell?
Sean King.
He's a political writer.
Oh, I know who he is.
Oh.
Let's see. John C. Breckenridge was just names, so there's not dead air. Dakota Meyer.
Kit Carson.
Bryson Tiller.
Virgil Earp.
I didn't know all these people were from
the Wendell Berry. I knew Wendell Berry was from here.
Matt Bevin, our fourth pick.
Fuck Matt Bevin. Fuck him.
Oh, Bill Monroe.
Monroe.
Classic. I know
bluegrass,
him.
Bluegrass artist.
I was trying to get.
What about Dr. Ralph Stanley?
Who's
I
that?
am the man of constant sorrow.
Oh, Rob
I've seen
Riggles.
trouble all my days.
Okay. Well, I think we've. Oh, Phil Simms. Oh, I love Phil Simms.
I don't know who that is.
He, quarterback for the New York Giants in the 80s, won a Super Bowl.
I think our fourth pick needs to be a musician.
A musician. That's
fair. I think Kentucky's music needs to be represented in our fourth pick.
Well, why don't we go?
Because you've got
we're pretty stretched.
You've got Ralph Stanley. You've got Loretta Lynn. You've got Billy Ray,
Chris Stapleton,
Tyler Childers.
I think you got to give it to who is this down here? I think you got to give it to Bill Monroe.
Really?
Honestly,
Bill Monroe.
Well, he's bluegrass.
Well, yeah, but I would argue that Ralph Stanley is. Well, I don't know. Bill Monroe is pretty recognizable, but so is Ralph Stanley.
I don't know who Ralph Stanley is. Who is he?
He did most of the music. He's super famous bluegrass artist. He did Man of Constant Sorrow, Pretty Polly, all kinds. But Bill Monroe's very famous too.
Yeah.
I think, gosh, so is Loretta Lynn. Gosh, this is hard. It's hard to pick between them because, like.
Wait, so we have Muhammad Ali, Hunter S. Thompson,
Henry Clay.
Let's go Loretta Lynn for the sake of diversity.
I was born a coal miner's daughter.
Yeah, why not? That's a great
I love
song.
Loretta.
That's my favorite song.
Is it your favorite song?
No.
You know, Loretta Lynn, I think she's almost 90 now. She just came out with a new album.
Holy shit. What if she, like, completely changed genres?
Yeah, she was like fucking...
Dropped a rap album.
She dropped a weird rap album right there at the end of her life. I mean, it was good. It was really good, but, you know, shocking.
Okay, so is that our Mount Rushmore?
I think that's our Mount Rushmore.
All right, so Hunter S. Thompson, Loretta Lynn, Muhammad Ali,
Henry Clay. Those are the 4.
All right.
If any Kentuckians want to critique our list, send it to our email.
Which is our email. Why did I Google Henry Clay? God damn it! You cannot try to if you're trying to talk and like listen to someone, you cannot type, or at least I can't. My wires are crossed.
Gosh, you had a thin little neck.
Our Gmail at kyfriedroadkill@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Write in with questions, whatever. So,
tell us who your Kentucky Mount Rushmore is if we're way fucking off.
So is it your turn to bring
I
this out?
I think it is. So I'll sign off with this insane list of drugs.
Yeah. I want you to read this.
Daily routine, lots of drugs.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay.
Let me make it a little bigger. Here we go. A day with Hunter S. Thompson.
Okay, I will read this. Hunter Thompson's daily routine is both predictable and outrageous, if not apocryphal, according to E. Jean Carroll's biography, Hunter, The Strange and Savage Life of Hunter S. Thompson. 3 p.m., rise. 3:05, Chivas Regal with morning papers, Dunhill cigarette. 3:45, cocaine. 3:50, another glass of Chiva, Dunhill. 9:40, 4:95.
4:05.
4:05,
Yeah.
First cup of coffee, Dunhill. 4:15, cocaine. 4:16, orange juice, Dunhill. 4:30, cocaine. 4:54, cocaine. 5:05, cocaine. 5:11, coffee, Dunhills. 5:30, more ice in the Chivas. 5:45, cocaine. 6 p.m., grass to take the edge off. 7:05, Woody Creek Tavern. For lunch, Heineken, 2 margaritas, 2 cheeseburgers, 2 orders of fries, a plate of tomatoes, coleslaw, a taco salad, a double order of onion rings, carrot cake, ice cream, bean fritter, Dunhills, another Heineken, cocaine, and for the ride home, a snow cone, a glass of shredded ice over which is poured 3 or 4 jiggers of Chivas. 9 p.m., cocaine. 10 p.m., drops acid. 11 p.m.,
That's such a plot twist. Get acid involved in this.
11 p.m., chartreuse, cocaine, grass. 11:30, cocaine. Midnight, Hunter ready to write. 12:05 to 6 a.m., chartreuse, cocaine, grass, Chivas, coffee, Heineken, clove cigarettes, grapefruit, Dunhill orange juice, gin. 6 a.m., in the hot tub, champagne, Dove bars, fettuccine Alfredo. 8 a.m., halcyon. 8:20, sleep.
I can't think of anybody I would rather have represent the state of Kentucky more
than
on
this brilliant man.
Yes. Shout out Hunter S. Thompson, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening
to this episode of
this
Kentucky Fried Roadkill.